I invite Ms. Rohini to present the invocation song.
Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Lambodharane Amba Sutane, Lambodharane Amba Sutane, Kavijana Sutane tava sharanam, Kavijana Sutane tava sharanam. Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Ganga Jatadhara Gauri Manohara, Ganga Jatadhara Gauri Manohara, Girijatanaya tava sharanam, Girijatanaya tava sharanam. Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Sakala kalagala kalusha viduram, Sakala kalagala kalusha viduram, Sakala jagatraya tava sharanam, Sakala jagatraya tava sharanam. Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Vignesha tava sharanam, Siddhi Vinayaka tava sharanam. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rohini, for the soulful invocation. Every successful event begins with a warm welcome and meaningful introduction. I now invite Dr. Nandini Devarmani Ma'am, Chairperson, Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, to deliver the introductory and welcome address.
Good morning to one and all, dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and my dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all and introduce the workshop to all of you. In today's digital world, women and young girls are increasingly vulnerable to sophisticated cyber threats. Cyber criminals are now exploiting the advanced tools like AI-generated deepfakes, QR code frauds, social engineering scams to harass, manipulate, or defraud them. Through social media and messaging apps, they manipulate trust to steal data, create fake content, or commit financial fraud. These personalized attacks can cause serious emotional and psychological harm to all of them. India is a home for over 1.47 billion people. Though the overall crime rate has decreased by 6% as per the NCRB crime report 2024, but there is a rise in the cyber crimes, which is about 18% from 2024. The total about 28 lakh cases have been registered with a financial loss of 22,495 crores of rupees. Especially it is found that the women and children are the easy targets. As India has seen a sharp increase in the cyber crimes, so also it is found that there is a rise in the number of crimes online in Wales too, where we have partnership and collaborating for this project. Therefore, this project aims to develop a cyber-safe online repository which supports practical interventions, digital tools, which help to reduce and respond the online crimes against women and children. The research focuses on prone victims, technology for detecting and reporting evidence-based practices, and knowledge exchange between Karnataka, India, and Wales. This collaborative research will extract the data, analyze the online abuse patterns, evaluate the platform, and develop a toolkit which induces safety guidelines, threat recognition, response steps with age-specific and audience-specific modules for women and children. Awareness, digital illiteracy, and strong cybersecurity habits are essential to ensure the safety in the online space in the current digital world. This is one of the workshops under the Global Wales Partnership with Karnataka project approved by the British Council. The objectives of this project are knowledge exchange, resource mapping, and exploration to teachers about the online risk, safe behavior to the process of how to respond to threats. Expected outcomes of the workshop or project will be highlighted through research, preventive activities, awareness programs, knowledge exchange between Karnataka and Wales. Cyber resilience is an ongoing journey and not a one-time fix. Be updated, be safe. With this brief introduction of the project and this workshop, I take this opportunity to welcome you all. It gives me immense pleasure to first welcome our Madam Finance Officer, Madam M.A. Sapna Ma'am. Ma'am, on behalf of the Rani Channamma University, Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, I extend a warm welcome to you, ma'am. I request Professor R.N. Manvuli sir to present ma'am with the sapling. It's a pleasure to have two representatives from United Kingdom, Wales, who are part of this workshop, of this project. That is Dr. Nitish Saxena, who has come all the way from UK relating to this project to visit Rani Channamma University. It's a pleasure to have Dr. Nitish Saxena to Rani Channamma University. I extend a warm welcome to Nitish Saxena sir on behalf of Rani Channamma University and Department of Criminology and Forensic Science. I request Chandrasekhar SV to present a sampling and welcome Dr. Nitish Saxena. We have one more representative from UK, Dr. Amit Javed sir. Sir, we heartily welcome you on behalf of Rani Channamma University and Department of Criminology and Forensic Science. I request Pooja Madam to present a sampling and welcome Javed sir. Okay. I request Kavya to present a sampling and welcome sir. We have amongst us Dr. Mahesh Vassar from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, who is one of the resource persons for today's workshop. Sir, on behalf of Rani Channamma University and Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. I request Vidyasagar sir to present a sampling and welcome, sir. We have among us our Professor R.N. Manvuli sir, Professor, Department of Criminology and Forensic Science. Sir, on behalf of the workshop, I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. I request Belagavi sir to present a sampling and welcome, sir. I take this opportunity to welcome all the syndicate members, all the deans, faculty members of all the departments, and all my dear students who are present here. With great pleasure, I welcome you all to this workshop, one-day workshop on cyber safe, tackling online crimes against women and children. Once again, welcome to one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm welcome. On behalf of everyone present here, I extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Nandini Devarmani ma'am, Chairperson of the Department of CFS, and I now request Mr. Yogesh Kamble sir to kindly come up and present a sampling and welcome ma'am to this gathering. We welcome you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. I now invite Ms. Kavya for the formal introduction of our esteemed resource person.
Good morning, everyone. It is my privilege and honor to welcome our esteemed guest speakers to today's workshop. We are delighted to have renowned experts in the field of cybersecurity and artificial intelligence with us today. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Nitish Saxena, reader in the School of Computer Science and Informatics at Cardiff University with over 20 years of experience. His research focuses on cybersecurity, online crime, internet or communication networks, and artificial intelligence or machine learning, driven cyber resilience. He previously held academic and research positions at Georgia Institute of Technology, Stony Brook University, and Bournemouth University. He is an Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers senior member, author of 100 plus research papers, recipient of multiple Best Paper Awards. His research has been supported by the Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council, Innovate UK, UK India Education and Research Initiative, Global Wales, Google Research, Thales British Council, the Petras National Centre of Excellence for Internet of Things, System Cybersecurity, and Research Institute in Trustworthy Internet Connected Cyber Physical Systems. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Amit Javed, co-founder, Kezentil, and senior lecturer in the School of Computer Science and Informatics at Cardiff University, and a certified information systems security professional, certified cyber security professional. His research focuses on malware behavior, cyber analytics, online harm, artificial intelligence, driven threat detection, cyber risk management, Internet of Things security, and automotive cyber security. He has collaborated with organizations including Government Communications Headquarters, ABUS, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Thales Group. He also supports innovation through the Wales Cyber Innovation Hub and currently leads Master of Science programs in cybersecurity at Cardiff University. We are also honored to welcome Mr. Mahesh Vastra, founder and managing director of Agamya Cybertech. He is also a cybersecurity mentor, senior cybersecurity advisor at BDG, and a GRC auditor at Reinfosec. With more than 8 years of industry experience, he has expertise in cybersecurity auditing, penetration testing, vulnerability assessment, digital forensics, malware analysis, mobile security testing, cloud and IoT security. He has audited more than 34 companies, banks, and finance sector organizations and has conducted over 70 workshops, training more than 40,000 students and police officers. He also hosted the first cybersecurity conference in the North Karnataka region. He handled digital forensics and mobile security in the Department of Electronics at Mangalore University. We are truly grateful to have such distinguished personality with us today. Let us all extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to our respected guests. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Ms. Kavya, for the brief introduction of our resource persons. We shall now begin the inauguration ceremony. I request all the dignitaries to kindly come forward and water the plant as a symbol of growth, learning, and awareness. Respected dignitaries, may this initiative continue to grow and create awareness in society. Now, as a gesture of gratitude and respect, we shall now felicitate our esteemed resource persons. I request all the dignitaries to kindly felicitate the guests. I now invite Dr. Mahesh Vastra sir to kindly come forward for the felicitation. honor to recognize their valuable contributions and presence with us today. Evolving rapidly with technology, making awareness more important than ever before. I now invite Professor Riaz Manguli sir to enlighten us on the recent developments in cybercrime in India. Now I feel honored to invite our esteemed guest of honor, Srimati Sapna M.A. Ma'am, KAAS Finance Officer, RCU, to address the gathering.
Good morning, everybody. Ellargu namaskara. Dignitaries on the dais. So, Saxena sir, Vasrad sir, Madam Manguli sir, respected faculty and my dear students. The topic that has been assigned is something which is very relevant, and I was just going through some of the handbooks that have been made available by the police officers, and one by Sanjay Mishra was very catchy. I was just going through when I came here because I didn't have the time to go through that last night. So as I was just going through, I found some of the things where women and children are vulnerable targets. This is something that sir and the others will deal with in detail, so I leave it to them. But as you are aware, the compulsion to post photographs and messages in social media, it's always like better safe than sorry. So what are we going to post? How are we going to develop? Because sometimes, the pressure and to meet with the kind of impulsive actions that many of us actually do when we are posting certain things in the social media, it has to be, thought. It has to be screened. But many a times we don't do that. Some impulsive actions lead to a lot of, so you have to be very, very careful about what you're going to post. So I think more details are dealt with. And second thing, you have got phishing and many such crimes that happen not only against women, but one of the most important things that I have noticed, at least read about it, is about cyber stalking. And how, these kind of cyber stalkers, they are cyber grooming, and how harassment is taking place at a large scale, and how online relationships are built to pressurize victims into various activities. That is something that you have to be very careful. And sharing private images, sometimes, it involves morphing also, and defamation and hacking. These are some of the most common things that I found, that I read about when I was going through this handbook. Of course, you have financial frauds. You also have sextortions. So these are some things that you have to be very careful. And I'm sure that a lot of light is going to be thrown on this today. And then we have got a lot of apps. I was just actually wanting to ask, how safe are these apps? In fact, this book lists out a lot of apps that are quite useful, at least in preventing, because when you have digital footprints, it's something that is not very easy. It is happening, no doubt about it, but not very easy always to trace. So how are these apps going to be effective? In fact, there are some 8 or 10 apps that have been listed. I'm sure that is going to be discussed in detail, and some sort of kind of consensus or some sort of education about how these apps are going to help, especially women and children, will be brought out in this. And here it is not just about how, as students of criminology that you are interested in, but society at large, how it is going to benefit. Because one step you advance in how you are going to stop this cyber security aspect, and the cyber criminals are 2-3 steps ahead of you each time. And the worst part is, you don't know from where they are working. So be very careful when you are dealing with all these online transactions. And I'm sure that that you will have a lot to learn from all these activities. Of course, however much you learn. It's always little. It's better to be prepared. And of course, none of us are going to be prepared at certain things of how, when I look at Facebook sometimes, I find so many young victims. Facebook has got its policy. It says it removes, all this kind of unwanted stuff and all that. But still, you have a lot of people because they are just compelled to do these things, maybe for peer pressure and all that. So let's be very careful about this aspect. It's not just about young people. It's about older people also. So let's be careful about these aspects. And I'm sure that with a lot of research behind them, they will offer you a lot of takeaways in today's discussions. So hope all of you make the best use of this workshop, and I thank you all for having me here. Thank you. All the best.
Yes. I now invite all the dignitaries to again kindly come forward and felicitate our another esteemed resource person, Dr. Amir Javed sir. Invite Professor Riaz Mangoli sir to enlighten us on the recent developments in cybercrime in India.
Respected Srimati Sapna MA, Finance Officer, Rani Channamma University. Chief guest of the today's function, Dr. Nitish Saxena from Cardiff University, Wales, UK. Dr. Mahesh Vastarad from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Then Dr. Amir Javed, again he is from Cardiff University, Wales, UK. And all my Dr. Chandrasekhar, Professor Shivanand Gurnale, Dr. Sagar, Dr. Bagade sir, and all the research scholars and students of criminology and forensic science, computer science, social work and other departments. Good morning one and all once again. As the topic which has been given to me is recent development in cybercrime in India. As you know very well, in just March 2026, Parliamentary Committee for Empowerment of Women has submitted a statistical data that it's very important for even the experts who have come from the abroad. I'm trying to brief about the rate of crime as well as what are the recent laws which has been enacted in India. So first, with respect to the rate of crimes, particularly cybercrime against women and children. So as said, the Parliamentary Committee for Women Empowerment, the statistical data which they have submitted is that from 2017 to 2022, the cybercrime against women and children has been surged with many-fold. That is 236%. Can you imagine this? The percentage of cybercrime against women which has been emerged, increased from 2017 to 22, it is 236%. Let us see one more data which has been published from the NCRB, Government of India under Ministry of Home Affairs. And I think you are all criminology students aware, and as well as computer science students, that this month only very latest cybercrime report has been published by the NCRB, New Delhi. That is on 6th of May 2026. So as per that data, although it is very late, the data, the crime report which is of the year 2024, which is being published very recently in this month only. According to that Crime in India report, compared to 2023, in 2024, 17.9% crime against women, particularly cyber crime against women and children, has been increased. And if we go back to the 2023, again 2023, there compared to the 2022 cybercrime in India, 31.2% has been emerged cybercrime against women and children. So why I'm telling this, because despite in India we have enacted n number of latest laws like Criminal Law 2023, wherein particularly the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, that is the section 57, deals with digital and electronics evidences. Section 57 of Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam deals with digital and electronic evidences, which was not there earlier in India. It was usually covered under IT Act 2000. And one more very important section, I think chapter 5 of the BSA 2023 deals with, particularly in that section 61, it is about, again, 61 of the BSA deals with particularly digital arrest, and again with respect to this digital evidences, electronic evidences. Whereas section 63 of BSA, it particularly required a authenticity certification from the expert, which is also connected as a chain of custody. Only then the court of law will be accepted. So come to again BNSS, that is Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Samite, that is 2023. In that section 105, section 105 is also very, very important, particularly with respect to digital as well as electronic evidences. Whereas section 176(3), it deals with respect to compulsory forensic investigation in the cases where the punishment is more than 7 years. So these are the few very important sections which has been advancement in the India in just 2 years back in 2023. Right. And one more very important, let me tell that Digital Personal Data Protection Act has been passed in India, sir, in 2023. Let me repeat once again, Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. Despite this act, but still the crime against women, particularly cybercrime against women and children, is increasing. So one more very important portal has been started in India. There is a very good initiative of Government of India. That is National Cybercrime Reporting Portal in 2019. It has been started, and resultantly, because of this portal, from 2019 to 2025, about 2.48 lakh complaints have been registered through this portal alone. And the cases is again cybercrime against women and children only. Purely the complaints which is being received through this portal, the ID, the number is 1930. I request all the computer science department as well as forensic science department to please note these important laws and the portal number 1930. Anyone across the country can file immediately complaint through 1930. These are the new advancements in India taken place. But allow us to say that we have enacted new laws, new initiatives have been taken place, but the enforcement officers has to be trained accordingly, which is not yet been taken place. Very recently, again, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, they have taken initiative that around 5,000 police officers has to be trained under forensic, cyber forensic tools by the end of this 2026. That would be very helpful to curtail or prevent or control cyber crimes or online crimes against women and children. As Madam was telling, and Dr. Nandini Madam also already referred in this introductory remark, that online crimes against women and children is been, although as she was already mentioned that the other crimes have been reduced. But cybercrime against women and children has not been decreased. It has been continuously increasing day by day. And what is the reason for that? The reason for that is again computer science. The advancement, the advanced technology in AI. Computer science people, they are developing new techniques like AI technique, AI tool and technology. And because of that, the cyber offender or cyber syndicates, they can easily target the vulnerable groups like women and children, and they can commit this crime by in remote areas, sitting in the remote areas. That is a very difficult one. That's a challenging one for the police officers today. All right, so that is there, and it's also very difficult that all the social platforms are operating outside the India, not in India. Because of that, our police officer is not able to get the required information within time. It is delaying. Because of that reason also, we are not able to, crack the cases, particularly the cyber crimes against women and children. So because we are getting difficult to access the information from the abroad, social platform who are managing sitting in the abroad, as well as it is very important to even we are not able to get the IP log within time. So all these things are challenges before us. Right. So under the circumstances, I really congratulate Dr. Nandini Devarmani. She has been very aptly, very rightly, she has selected the topic for her project. And on behalf of the Department of Criminology and Forensics at Rani Channamma University, I congratulate you for this, award from both from Wales, UK. Which university it is? Yeah, Cardiff University, UK. It's a really kind of feather in the cap of department as well as in the university. So with these few words, there are really very challenging one, and hope that all those things will be included in by the lead projector to lead the further project and in our research. Thank you very much for the time given. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing such valuable insights in the field of cybercrime. We are truly privileged to have eminent academicians and experts present with us today. I now invite our distinguished resource person, Dr. Nitish Saxena, sir, reader, Cardiff University, Wales, to kindly address the gathering.
First of all, thanks for the invitation, Dr. Nandini. Pleased to be here. This is a really interesting topic to talk about. So I will be talking more about the project, what we are doing, what we are aiming, what is the project about, and how we can build on what we have already done. So this project is supported by Global Wales. Wales is one of the country within the UK. And myself and my colleague Amir, we both work at Cardiff University in the School of Computer Science and Informatics, where we do a lot of work around computer science, along with data-related stuff, data analytics, and so on. So I'll be talking very briefly about myself, and then I'll talk about the project. So we do run a lab called Cyber and Critical Infrastructure Security Lab, so if I divide my research, probably I'll divide into two broad domains. One is mostly on something called cyber physical system security, talking about we got critical infrastructure in place. For example, your electricity system, your water treatment plant, your transportation sector, your healthcare, your space sector, and so on. And these are not the new sector. They've been there for a long time. However, the cyber security was not there. The reason was because most of these systems were offline. They were not connected to really with the internet. Yeah. Now, since we wanted to build smart city, smart world, smart transportation, smart healthcare, and so on and so forth, using technology, right? So whenever you are bringing new technology in, that means you are attaching new devices to the existing infrastructure. That devices can automate things, can process data, and so on. So you need internet or some kind of connections for data exchange and so on. And that is the actual reason for having cyber risk across these infrastructures. And these are really critical infrastructure that really needs to be protected at all time. Yeah. So we work around. We have done a lot of work around the smart grid, which is your electricity systems. We are also pushing boundaries around electric vehicles, Internet of Things, autonomous vehicles, on smart devices, cellular network, for example, 5G and 5G, 6G networks, data privacy, and so on. So that is the one aspect. I'm not going to talk much about that. I'll talk more about the second part, which is around cybercrime, online safety, and counterterrorism. So, again, when we say cybercrime, cybercrime is not a new phrase to introduce. It's been there. When we had the internet, there were some way or the other. We started with the malwares. We had, at some point, we had viruses and stuff like that. And now, because of the social involvement, we got social media and social platforms, apps, and so on. And due to that, these crimes have been rapidly increased, right? So some of the work that we pay attention to around the phishing emails. Now again, these patterns have been evolved over the years. Nowadays you see it's more organized crime, right? You see these more phishing emails, messages, and so on. This was not the picture earlier down the line, like 10 years back or so. However, there was not enough technology for you to understand what is phishing, what is not phishing, and so on. And there were, and I guess not many people were exposed to internet at that point of time. That's the reason these numbers were really low. But now, since most of us are now exposed to internet, everybody has cell phone, and they're playing with devices. Everybody uses social media. You make payment using UPI and so on. The whole attack surface just expanded exponentially. And now there are a lot of attention need to be paid in order to understand what caused these, how these patterns have been evolved over the years, what are the current challenges, whether the tools and the software and the technology that we had maybe 10 years back, is this still relevant nowadays? Can we still use those in order to cope up with the challenges that we are facing as of now, right? So we need to understand all these things in order to actually think about whether we can improve some of these solutions which have been developed in the past, or there's really a need to build new solutions out of it. So we did some work around the phishing emails, detecting URLs, malicious URLs, and so on. We did some work around spam messages and harmful content, how you detect content without looking at it, using privacy preserving method, using machine learning and deep learning technology, online crime and safety for users. And also, I'm also associated with something called Global Internet Forum for Counterterrorism. So there are, I guess it's been now really expanded, but it was started with 25 members, 25 companies and other organizations. I guess we now extended really in hundreds or so. The whole point is to understand now what are the channels for terrorism, how you fund them, how they build network, how they communicate is social media. Through that they were able to do a lot of things. So the whole point was to understand, can you detect that organized crime? And can you identify, what kind of activities? Obviously, many of those things is hard to understand unless you correlate it, because they might be in the code words and so on. But the whole idea is to understand the organized crimes, identify people and groups, and see what kind of financial traces we can have to understand where the money is going, where the money is coming from, what is the source of, and so on. And once you have that understanding, probably you can then stop or you can control this. So that is a really good initiative that's been done. Right, so about this project. So as it says, the project aimed to develop a cyber-safe online repository supporting practical interventions, digital literacy tools, and frontline tailored training modules with intention to reduce and respond to online crimes against women and children. It combines research, prevention, capability building, victim support, technology, policy advice, establishes evidence-based practice, knowledge exchange between Karnataka and Wales. This workshop is designed to reflect social technical realities, legal frameworks, infrastructure differences across India and UK that I'll be talking in a minute. So the whole point is, can we put things in one place? We call it cyber safe repository, where we can understand based on the data that we see, what we can we understand some of the patterns to derive what is happening, why it is happening, and how can we stop it, what needs to be done. Yeah. Second thing is awareness. It's really, we need to push the boundary to really spread the awareness about these things and better understand how online crimes, including harassments, takes place. What are the real causes? How can you control it and support it? One of the main, so again, one aspect is obviously you understand the pattern, you detect things, and you respond to it. One of the major key thing here is the victim support. For example, someone is just gets scammed because they were using some social media and someone stolen their money through some transaction or whatever. The person needs to go with some mental trauma. Yeah, once you lost your money or someone harassment you have that mental pressure around you. And there's not really enough support in this sector so as a victim, many times users don't really reach out to the agencies or the portals and so on, right? So in the UK, we have some collaborators, some organizations which are dedicatedly doing this work, victim support. So if you're one of the victims, you just need to make a call. And they are the one, they will take care of everything. They will help you, on making understand what are the different options that you can take place, that you can opt in, and what is the whole process and things like that. And they will help you throughout your time. They will, on your behalf, they will also report it to the police and so there are a number of NGOs and organizations which are working towards this. Right, the reason we picked up this project, because we saw there's a spike in the cybercrime cases in India and in Wales. So this is just some of the data I want to present. So it says cybercrime in India, Karnataka is a major hotspot, reporting 21,889 cases, which is over 25% of national average. And cybercrime losses around 70 million pounds. Now, these are the figures which have been reported. There will be number, you can imagine there will be at least 50% of the cases where people don't really report these things. Similarly, when we talk about Wales, it's in 23-24, police recorded around 2,194 such offenses, roughly half involved in Snapchat and other Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So we thought this project is mainly looking at the crime around the social media platforms. Again, it's very vast to say online crime, it's a very vast topic. But more specifically, we wanted to look at the social media or application that most of the people use, and what are the different ways people can be targeted, and what are the options to prevent those things and so on. So as I said, when we say cybercrime, as again, it's around the world, it's all connected. Now, since we are using, for example, you have Facebook, where you can chat with your friends if sitting somewhere in another country and so on. and there's a channel to connect all. So it's all connected. We are living in a connected world, and cyber crime is no more kind of a difference out of it. Digital safety. Again, when we say digital safety, it's not just protecting the infrastructure or the devices. It's also we really need to focus on the users as well, the users who will be using these apps and platforms in order to facilitate. So there need to be some regulations, there need to be some rules that everyone needs to follow in order to be part of a public network systems. Criminology, I won't say much. I think we got Professor Nandini here talking about more criminology, but I'll just say maybe one line around. Nowadays, what we see is more on organized crime. In the past, you were saying somebody is creating a spam and sending you randomly, flooding it through messages, and many people receive those messages. And at some point, it was easier for you to see, this is a fake or this is a spam, message. But now, since this is now more organized crime, you will see even the messages, even the emails are very tailored for individuals. They know your name, they know what did you recently bought. Someone say, oh, you recently bought this from Amazon, can you please review it? And then attach a malicious URL along with the email. And you start believing because they know your name in the email, they know that you have recently bought Amazon product, and then you will intentionally click on that and will be part of this whole crime. I was watching somewhere where somebody said, when you got the parcels in your place, you take out the item, you throw the parcel, but the parcel still have the label on it, your address and stuff. And then people can use that information against you to draft those spam emails and messages. So we look at some data. So this is this data from National Crime Record Bureau in India between 2017 and 2021. So I'm not talking about very recent data. I picked old data which is good enough for me to build understanding around what's happening. Obviously, the crime rate, as we know, is increasing. So obviously, what we are saying is we can think of this will be in a more higher terms. So what are the key trends that we have found in this data? One is rapid increase over time. So since 2017, 2019, and so on, especially after post-COVID, these cases have surged really because of the reason due to the COVID, most of the students and users went online, right? We are more interactive with online, and there the opportunity the attackers saw, and that's why we've seen a spike in the targeting more spam emails and phishing emails and so on. Type of offense. Now, we've also seen since many users are the students, not the college level student, but also student at school level. They will also be part of online classes, and and they've been exposed to online system, they've been exposed to social media, and they started getting into those. And there've been some serious concern around students at school being targeted against these involving these crimes and so on. Particularly around geographic pattern, it says certain states like Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Kerala, Orissa reported highest number of the cyber crime against children in specific years. Pattern suggests that more populous or more digitally connected states tend to report higher number, which is very obvious to understand, though reporting practices and awareness is also influence these figures. So, they say the bulk of the crime recorded were distribution and transmission of illicit content, highlighting pattern of exploitation rather than purely technical hacking or fraud. Now, some of the challenges, because there are users which are sick with their minds, that's why they create that kind of strategy. But there are also shortcoming in terms of the platform that we use. right? For example, if you're using WhatsApp, if someone send you some nonsense, because you just have to forward, what are you gonna do? Is there a way you could trace that who is the person who created this? There's no way, yeah? And company won't let you know. Who is the first person who created a message, and now it's been circulated to millions of users. There's no way. If someone's sending you any, illicit content, who can you report it? What are you gonna do in the first place? Maybe if you're not really aware, probably you can think of police. Yeah, maybe I can report to cybercrime portal and so on. And probably you will forget it after a while. Are you going to chase it? Or there's a process in place that will actually help you tracing, Obviously, I guess one of the speakers, Professor Mangoli, was talking about saying, obviously, and again, these are good initiatives when we say we are training police officers and so on. However, we also need to understand the size of the country. Yeah, we really need to push these efforts in a much longer terms and making aware as many as people. Again, when we say awareness, trainings and stuff, they also vary through age group. The same kind of training to the school children, to the college students, to adults, to old age people, that's not going to work. You need to customize training at their level, what they can understand. If I say a few technical terms, probably most of you can understand. But maybe your grandparents won't be able to understand these things. So you have to put this in a more layman term, simplify things, and they can use. Because now in every country, government is moving towards digital. They say you can have your pension something, digitally. Many people don't know how to do it. They'll just go to either center or someone within their home helps them to make it done. But in order to literate them, you need to make those efforts in terms of not just the government, but there are a number of organizations that are working towards it. And again, not just the student. Again, teaching student or training student is a good way, because students, when you grow up, you build a good society. One of the examples is, I guess, last year in the UK, they banned cigarettes. So anyone who born after 2008, they can't get cigarettes from the shop. So if you buy a cigarette or tobacco in a shop, they will verify the age. So you can't just get in anything. When you scan it, it will not let you know. It will check the age of the person who is buying it. Right? So there's a person who is taking care of this, supervisor, he will not let you this. And there's a rule now, they said even after 2008, no one can buy these things. So you can imagine the new generation will be free of all these things in the whole country after it. So so these are the steps which are really innovative in a way. They can completely change the environment. They can completely change completely defeat the problem that you are having. So we need to think something out of the box to handle this really crucial problem, because India is a huge country. Yeah, we have a very high population, not much literacy rate as we should be, and so on. Again, there are many people who are having degree, but having degree doesn't mean you are literate, you understand things, you are sympathetic, and so on. So again, awareness and training is a crucial part of the whole process, and not just the technical training, but also more awareness and more sympathetic things. Now, some data I'm going to talk about from England and Wales. I got this from Office of National Statistics, and they said there's a high internet engagement. Within the UK, around 92% of the children aged 10 to 15 went online daily, almost daily, because they've been taught in the schools with their iPads, So they're more used to, every household has internet, broadband, and so on. So all children are more used to internet and so on. Around 58% spend 3 and more hours daily online, up to 47% 3 years earlier. Again, interaction in unknown contexts, say 35% accepted friend requests from people they didn't know. Because it's just a new world for them. It's an entirely new world where they can contact anyone, they can watch it, around the world. And they're more fascinating talking to different people, different type of people without understanding what kind of security issue it can bring in. Yeah? Because they have no idea that what is this world about. 90% had exchanged messages with someone they never met in person. Nearly half of these interactions with unknown online and contacts had no mutual connection, increased risk. So if somebody is talking to you, if they don't know you, probably they have some agenda to talk to you. People might talk to you by chance, by mistake once or twice, but somebody is intentionally, following you on different channels, different social media platforms. That's something they have, some kind of agenda they have. Sexual messaging, around 10% of the children aged 13 to 50 received sexual messages in the past year, mostly via social media. Because social media gives you that liberty. Yeah? If you're talking to someone, if you say nonsense, someone will be much angry. There'll be people around that will, handle the process. But social media, you can say whatever you like, right? And what you can do ultimately is just going and reporting it. And if the reporting agency doesn't do anything, then everything falls apart, isn't it? So we are more reliant on the process. Awareness is one thing, but we are more reliant on the whole process. And the process involves people who are much trained with the skill. They understand laws, because that's why it's more interdisciplinary. They need to understand what are the laws there, what are the regulations there, what they can do, what evidences they need. This is called part of psychology and criminology and so on. Cyberbullying and harassments also there. The important patterns here, if I summarize it, so online activity is pervasive and often unsupervised. Even with parental awareness, children are engaged with unknown contact and risky content. Sexual messages and online bullying remain persistent issue, not just an isolated event. So as I said, when somebody is following you on different channels, that means they have some agenda. They wanted to follow you for some reason. And obviously, as a kid, kids don't have much understanding around what is this about. And even if they got victimized, they don't know what to do, who to report. Many people don't hesitate talking, they are more hesitate talking to parents, or they really don't understand the whole process. So if you're an adult, probably you know the process, but still you might hesitate. Many of the users hesitate going and reporting those things because of the socialist stigma and so on. However, for kids or young students, most of them have no idea what is the process, what to do, nothing. So we need to understand the complexity and the scalability of the problem. Just talking about few things in this classroom is not going to help. Maybe it will help once we start, replicating it. For example, whatever you see here, if you talk to your friends, you talk to at home, people around you and so on, and they talk to somewhere else, you make a chain out of it. And then, it will spread more awareness. We can't really rely on the trainings provided by government or NGO and so. Obviously, they are doing their stuff, but they have their own limitations. We also need to take part as a society to bring this up and solve the whole. I'll skip few slides because we talk about many of those things. Just one of the things I want to talk about, saying insight by user groups, especially children. I'm talking about this from UK data. Say around 89% are grooming offenses, were nearly half of them were through Snapchat. How many of you use Snapchat? Facebook? WhatsApp? Instagram? Okay. Now, these apps, innovation is good way. These apps has their own way of innovation, right? For example, Facebook is different from your Twitter or X or LinkedIn or Instagram and so on. They have their own uniqueness in that. However, how many of you know or are aware how to report things? Yeah. The very first thing we can say is you can block it. You can block that person. Yeah. Does blocking that person is gonna help you or gonna help the whole system? Because blocking is one-way process. You block someone, but that person is not harmed. There's no negative impact on that person. It will target someone else, isn't it? So we really need to understand the limitation and the options provided by these apps. You know, what we can do, is it really useful? Maybe it might be useful for you temporarily. But what if someone start doing the same thing? How many people you want to block? And at some point, and again, this is part of the study, at some point, this has been said somewhere, I don't know, somewhere it says, many girls, I guess this, 20% of these girls are unsafe and fearful in their physical safety because of the online threats. And many females and children, they start avoiding Facebook and social media. They don't want to go there because once they go there, people started chasing them and so on. So that means we have a process in place. However, that entire process is not good enough for us to actually help the victim and also penalizing the person. So it says around 70% of teens reported cyberbullying in one of the US report, around 50% on Facebook. Now, why Snapchat is the highest out of it? Because Snapchat gives you an option where you can send a message to a person and that message disappeared after a while. It doesn't save on the phone. So I can say any nonsense to anyone and it's going to disappear. Yeah? And that's one of the reasons people use Facebook intentionally, because it provides that option. Right? So many new kids or school children, if they don't know these things, they're part of this and they start enjoying things without understanding what could be the risk. So the high-level takeaway from this: Snapchat, strong signal for grooming, image-based abuse, and cyberbullying. Instagram, high incident share for bullying and harassment. Facebook continue rank high for abuse and harassment against both teens and adult women. WhatsApp, much lower overall bullying. However, one of the problems with WhatsApp is you can't really trace the originator of the message. Yeah. You just received many forwarded messages, but you have no idea who is the originator of it. Whether this content that you received is actually legitimate or fake. There's a lot of things going around because of the deep fake. Now you can create fake images, audio, video, and so on. And now we are living in a world where we are losing trust within the system. Anything weird come across to you, your first impression, it's a fake. It's AI generated, isn't it? Even it is legitimate, it's very hard you to believe things. And now we don't have a process to verify it. Do we have? We have a lot of tools where you can go and build something through AI. But there are hardly tools that can verify these things correctly, whether this is human or written. People are working on it. However, we don't really have very concrete things. Companies started claiming, however, there's no experimental or validation so far. Girls are disproportionately targeted in grooming and sexual solicitations. Women and female teen reports high rate of abuse, harassment, and fears for safety compared to males in many studies. Both women and children often don't report harmful experience due to stigma, fear, and belief reporting won't help. So actual prevalence is likely higher than the recorded statistics. So what we can do about it? So as I said, for Snapchat, it's more about grooming and child sexual exploitation, image-based abuse, cyber flashing, cyberbullying, sextortion. Now, what you can do around it, the very first thing you can do, encourage children to only accept the known context. Don't accept friend requests from unknown people who you don't know. You need to teach children to recognize grooming tactics and avoid sharing explicit images. Right? Now, this needs to be taught from the school. Because they are the kids which are more vulnerable. Vulnerable in the sense they don't know the process, they don't know the risk. As an adult, you might know the risk. You might not know the entire process, but you know the risk. You know some part of the process, what to do, what can you do partially. But as a kid, they have no idea. So it's really neat for them, for us to actually simplify things at their level. They can understand what are the risks, what they need to do, what they need not to do, And if they've been part of the victimized, if they've been victimized at any point of what they should do, who they should talk to, who can they report, and so on. Reporting tool, use Snapchat in-app reporting for harassment and suspicious contact. Explain that disappearing messages can still be screenshots or recorded. Again, if you know this, you can do this instantly. You can take a screenshot. If you don't know, it will just go until something comes to your mind what you can do. Platform should continue deploying detection for sexual content and harassment targeting minors. Again, all these tools, all these platforms need to be expanded in a way. They should have some AI detection capability where they should be able to determine what is fake, what is legitimate. They should be able to identify user behavior based on the content, based on what they are doing, and if necessary, there should be process where they should be reported to the authority. Similarly, we come up with the Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp. So I'll skip this. But the message I just wanted to carry on, I just did it in one of those. But you have to understand all apps are very different from each other because of the innovation. So one option that you are aware might not work in another app or might not be as effective in another app. For children, so what is the recommendations at this point? For children and teens, never share explicit image and personal information with strangers, report and block abuse users immediately, maintain open communication with parents, guardians about online experience. For women, use privacy setting aggressively to control who can contact you, keep evidence of harassment before reporting, seek support. Again, I guess these all things are not new in a way. Many of the people already know. However, there's a need to spread it more widely and also start thinking what are the current trend, what is the current patterns. Because these patterns have been evolving over time. Once they see, there's enough control and there's enough process, there's enough reporting in place because of this type of behavior, people change their behavior. Yeah? And they started doing different kind of harassment, different kind of activities for which we might not have that effective tool. So this is kind of a continuous process where we need to learn the user behavior, understand what are the risks from time to time, and we need to assess the tools and capabilities that we have to understand whether these solutions are really effective as of now or not. If not, then obviously we need to do a lot of things around in order to improve those. For schools and institutions, teach consent and digital boundaries early. So teaching consent is really, really important. People should not be able to take your photograph without your consent. And that's very much practiced in the UK. You can't take photograph of anyone without their consent. Make cyber abuse reporting confidential and trauma-informed. If someone is reporting it, the whole process should be very confidential. It should not, if it is not, then nobody's going to trust on the whole process. So having this confidentiality is really, really important, and support for the victim. For the person already going through some trauma, some mental issue, Many people don't have that capacity at this point to go and report and chase and, those things. So this process needs to be very smooth. It should be the other way around, so that victim feels that people are there to support them, not the other way, that someone is chasing the whole thing. Address gender-based harassment explicitly. This is, again, it's a very really real challenge to deal with. We should always treat individuals with same capability, with same dignity and so on. They should not be gender biased in any way. For platform, enhance AI moderation to detect harassment, grooming, and image-based abuse, strengthen age verification and parental control features. Again, in the UK, many of the online websites, apps, they started age verifications. So if you're under age of 18 years, there are many websites you can't access, or you need consent from parent and so on. So there has to be a process where you can say from different age group, from different category of people, what they can do, because based on what they need to know online, what they are exposed to, what kind of risk they might have, and do we already have effective solution in place to support if people are being targeted and so on. So this whole process needs to be assessed very clearly. And more importantly, for policymaker and law enforcement, promote public aware campaign about online abuse, provide dedicated unit of investigate cyberbullying, grooming, sexual exploitation, fast reporting and take down mechanism for harmful content targeting women and children. Again, in the UK, we have number of NGOs dealing with this. For example, if somebody takes your photograph, upload somewhere, there are agencies, if you contact them, they will directly contact the police and the website or whoever, and then take down the images instantly. So there are people who are really active and they wanted to protect, they want to secure the whole society. And we really need to have NGOs and other organizations to come forward and do this kind of thing. Treat online abuse as a real world harm. This is really important. It's not like someone can come online and say you some nonsense and go away. It should not be the same. You must report it, whatever channels, and see. As I said, one of the things is the trust. You might be more through awareness and training and stuff, you might be kind of encouraged to report it, and you go and report it. However, your confidence or your trust in the process will build up when you see that somebody is taking care of it. Somebody is following the process, somebody is actually taking it to a conclusion to derive whether that victim is actually did this kind of, there's enough evidence to claim that part and so on. Treat and then mandate platform transparency or abuse statistics. So these platforms need to must report how many abuses were reported, what people think about their trust, safety, and so on. And invest in child-focused cybercrime unit. As I said, if you're teaching the kids about all these things, when they grow up, you will see all these cases are really low, because people are now more aware about the laws, about the whole society and the process and how do we live. Quickly, I'll take maybe a minute or two and then I'll stop. Legal and safeguarding in UK and Wales. So we got number of frameworks around it. For example, we got Children Act 1989 and 2004, which are the foundational safeguarding laws. Then we got Working Together to Safeguard Children. It's not a criminal law, but it's more on stationary guidance from government. And Keeping Children Safe in Education. Again, this is also important. Safeguarding documents in school. So they teach. So there are certain, as I said, some are laws, some are more guidance in a way to the schools, how they deal with these things. So for example, if for example, my kid goes to school, and if me and my wife don't go there to collect him, you can't collect your kid from the school. Because they ask, when you go for admission, they ask you the consent, say who can collect your kids. And you have to provide certain names. If somebody goes there, they are not part of the list, they won't give it. So we need to build the whole framework around kids, whole framework around the women, whole framework around the old age people, to think about what, and if we have certain thing in place, it becomes part of the process and we are more aware about it, rather than simply having awareness trainings. Then we got some Cyber Offences Act, something called Malicious Communication Act, 1988, Protection from Harassment Act, 1997, Sexual Offences Act for Online Grooming, 2003, and recently we have something called Online Safety Act, 2023, where some of these things have been updated and so on. Training alignment, early identification, evidence preservation, victim-centered support, and proportionate interventions. Again, each one of these is really important to take part. Not just we want to block that person, rather we need to identify the user behavior. We need to really push the boundary and understand which app you are using, what are the options, and then support provided by them, what are the legality and regulation in that, what you can do in this whole process, how does it work, in how many days this will come to a conclusion, and so we need to really push the boundary and come up with a more close-up framework. And India alignment, I know a few things, not everything, but legal framework, I know something called Information IT Act 2000. IPC sections, there are some provision for stalking, intimidation, and obscenity. There is something called POSCO Act for children, online sexual exploitation of children, reporting mechanism. We got National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. I haven't checked how many people have reported and so on, the data, but it's been there, which says if you report it instantly, it will, someone will call you back and so on and so forth. Cybercrime cells, this is again very important and good initiative taken by different state government across the country, where we have multiple cybercrime cells, in different districts and state, where they can communicate with you to help you out. I don't know much detail about it, but I know the high level understanding and how does it work. The cultural consideration is also one of the important aspects. For example, address stigma and fear of blame. We really need to make our kids aware of these things, that there's no something called gender biased. Boys and girls same at this level, where just because of the social stigma and fear of something, you don't come out and say, what are your concerns? So we really need to teach this from the very beginning. And if we have that, we will have a much better society, where people are not able to differentiate, different genders and stuff. Emphasize confidentiality. Confidentiality is really, really important. As I said, when somebody is reporting something, you need to understand the whole process. Somebody is reporting it because they trust you. If you broke the trust, the whole system will collapse. So that's why the confidentiality is really, really important to go around it. And engage guardians sensibly. You don't just come and say, oh no, your kids are doing this nonsense. You have to teach them, you have to understand what's wrong, whether they are aware of not, you need to train them rather than blame them. Yeah. So the whole process need to do the other way around to make the better society, rather than just doing our part or blaming others. I have this second last slide, where I look around what is the policy relevant insights, which I already talked about. Maybe I'll just talk about this, something called a structural risk from India point of view. One of the issues is we have a shared family. We live in a shared family members and we share devices, isn't it? And sharing devices sometimes could be really challenging. And there have been several cases reported where the kids were having their parents' cell phone because they love to play games. They install some app, which were not secure app, and that gives adversary an entry to get into the phones and take out all the money out of it. Or there have been cases where people were using some games, I don't know the name, maybe PUBG, some games, task-based games, and these tasks were really, really extreme at some point. Also, you have to jump from the first floor, you have to burn something, and then and kids were really doing just to get few points and wanted to be on the top of the list, some nonsense. And there, you can imagine, because these are kids, they have no understanding, no idea what they are doing. They're just playing games. And unfortunately, there's no control that who can install these apps, what these apps can provide and cannot provide, and so on. Low digital literacy in rural and semi-urban areas. Again, there's another problem. That's why people are not much aware. Old age people, they don't really want it to be aware. If you say, learn this is how you do this. No, I don't want to learn. Yeah, so how you engage them with their mindset so they are more active and engaged. Say, okay, I understand this. So that's why I'm saying, if you're talking about buzzword or technical terms, probably they will avoid all these things because they don't want it to learn at this point of their age. It's very hard. Weak awareness of reporting mechanism. I talk about this. Simply blocking is not going to help. We need to understand the whole process. We need to know the accountability. We need to know how long it's going to take, and what is the outcome and how it will follow the whole chain. Law enforcement capacity varies widely by state. Again, within India, we have different laws across different states. So that sometimes can also be challenging to deal with. In terms of UK, I'll skip all these things because I think I'm already out of time. From UK point of view, so rapid platform adoption outpaces regulation. In the UK, technology is very fast, and so fast that the regulation that come out, and after a few years, people find a new way of doing things because the technology has been upgraded and so on, and regulation, of course, you can't upgrade every year and so on. Abuse often hidden in private messages. There are certain apps, platforms providing DM. You can do DM, you can do Snapchat, you can send a message that will disappear and so on, So again, you need to be aware of these private messages. What's the purpose of these messages, these private channels? And if somebody is sending you abuse, then what are the risks, not just for you, but for them as well, and how they've been part of the process, who will deal with them and so on. Victim support, victim report slow and inconsistent platform responses. Again, as I said, not everybody is reporting it, which needs to be increased. However, these platforms are very different. Now, there's another work going around understanding pattern among different platforms. So we are doing one of the projects where we are looking at, for example, if somebody is posting an image on Facebook, can I find the same image on Instagram across the platform? And I wanted to see, because this will help you to better understand, identifying that this is a fake image, first of all. And secondly, who are the people posting it? Maybe the same person or maybe a group of people. So when you start looking at across the channels, across the platforms, you get the wider picture. You got the big picture. And that big picture will help you finding these organized crimes, groups, people, and their behavior in more sense. Right, I think I just want to stop now. Any questions now that you wanted to have? Obviously, we have a lot of things to build on what we are doing. There are some things which have been already being done here and in the UK. So many of the things I talk about, they are not new, but we wanted to bring the fresh perspective in the way, what are the current trends? What are the current patterns? And based on that, we wanted to revisit everything to understand whether they fit in the current context or not, based on what apps we have, what user behavior we have as of now, what pattern we see as of now. Based on that, whether do we have enough tools and enough capability, reporting system, and skilled people to help us together to build better society. With this one, I'll just conclude. I'll stop talking. If you got any questions, I'm happy to take them offline as well. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening session on cyber safe, digital safety, and the insightful recommendations. I now invite our next distinguished resource person, Dr. Mahesh Vastrad, sir, from the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, to take over the session.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay. So, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ? Okay. So, before starting the session, I have a few questions. Okay, how safe you are in the internet? So, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಗೆಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್, ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್, ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಕಡೆ ಇದೆ, ರೈಟ್? So, how safe you are in the internet? Sapna madam was telling that I have using some applications, whether they are secure or not. She don't know, right? So, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲಲ್ಲೂ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವೆದರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್. So, I don't want normal session. So, I want interactive session with you guys. Okay. So, how secure you are? So, ಯಾವ ಥರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, how confident you are when it comes to securing yourself from the internet frauds or internet activities? So, day-to-day ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಲೈಕ್ some accounts got compromised, right? This crime happened, that crime happened. So, when it comes to crimes, okay, when it comes to forensics, so traditional crimes are like robbing, killing, or something like that, right? So now we shifted to digital platform. Okay, so cyber crimes are more. Through that, what they can do, so they can exploit victims emotionally and make them feel guilty. So ಅದರಿಂದ ಅವರು ಸುಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಥರ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್ ನೌ. ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ? ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾರೋ ಒಂದು ಲೋನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಲೋನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹರ್ಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅದೊಂದು ಲೋನ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ತೀರಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ದೆ ಮೈಟ್ ಶೇರ್ ಸಮ್ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಫೋಟೋಸ್, ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ಅಬ್ಯೂಸಿವ್ ಮೆಸೇಜಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಥ್ರೂ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಜನ ಎಮೋಷ್ನಲಿ ಡೌನ್ ಆಗಿ, ಸೊ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಸೊ ಫ್ಯೂ ಮೈಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಸುಸೈಡಿಕಲ್ ಥಾಟ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಸೈಬರ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ over 10 lakhs cyber crimes against women and children. So I won't discuss about the records already, resources, or discuss these statistics, right? So digital activities, Indian database prakara digital activities. So day to day life alli what we are going to do with the internet, right? Well, so 68% time we are investing in streaming films or streaming services like Jio Hotstar, Netflix, or entertainment channels like YouTube or any other platform. It might be Prime, right? So 68% time in now Indians. So this is Indian database. So we are spending our 68% time in these streaming services, platforms, spending social media platform use ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 74% time ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಥರ applications, other application other than social media platforms, okay, Gmail, Drive, or any other platform, you can say 82% time we are spending over there, and playing video games and other things 56% time, and creating and uploading videos, so around 34%. Music services, so Gaana, Savan, or whatever it is, so 63% we are spending our time over there. So on an average, so Abba Bharatiya, on an average, more over 2.5 hours he is spending in his time in the social media platforms, on an average ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಎಸ್, So most of us in the social media platform itself, right? ರೀಲ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ. ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ? ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ? ಓಕೆ. ದ ಕ್ರೇಜಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್, ಸೊ ರೀಲ್ಸ್ ನೋಡುವಾಗ, ಸೊ ಇವನ್ ಐ ಡೂ ಯೂಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ರೀಲ್ಸ್ ನೋಡುವಾಗ, ಸೊ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಸಿ ಮೆನಿ ರೀಲ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಕಾಮಿಡಿ, ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಐ ಡೂ ರೀಡ್ ದೋಸ್ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. Try it once. Okay, so abusive messages, so you'll get those messages over there. So adond reels hakirtare adond hudgi, right? So we do deal with some cybercrime cases with Karnataka State Police Department. We help them in investigating those cybercrimes, as well as recovering the social media platforms, social media accounts as well. Okay, so we got one case. Okay, she's an influencer. So ಅವಳದು ಅಚಾನಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಲೀಕ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಫ್ಯೂ ಗೈಸ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಹರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಶಿ ಮೈಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಥ್ರೂ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್, ಟು ದೋಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮಲ್ಲಿ DMs ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಶಿ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಅಗೇನ್ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಗೇನ್ she block over there. Okay, so she block in all social media platforms. Okay, so ella platform media dalli block madidmele she showed us something else. Any guess? So those guys, so yarig number sikkitala, the message in phone pay, Google Pay. ಕ್ರೇಜಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ. ಸೊ ಈವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಎವ್ರಿವೇರ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಮೈಟ್ ಕಮ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಜಿಮೇಲ್ ಆರ್ ಫೋನ್ಪೇ, ಗೂಗಲ್ ಪೇ ಆರ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಸ್ Saxena sir said, blocking is not a solution, right? So we need to report those kind of numbers or accounts as well. Well, 90% of attacks launch with the phishing emails. Okay, we have seen many cases. So victims ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, so they come up with like, ನನಗೇನು ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅಚಾನಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಅಚಾನಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಹೋಯಿತು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಐ ಗೆಸ್ there are many CS students as well. So without touching any device, without interacting, without communicating with any device, is it possible to hack? Yes or no? Yes, yes jana antira. How, sir?
Based on previous information.
Okay.
Previous responses might be.
Hello, like previous information, previous response kind of.
Shared some personal details, account details, or some other details.
Yeah, so for that one, we need some sort of communication, right, with the victim. So for example, if I need to hack your system or mobile device, I need some sort of communication, right? I need to send some phishing mail or fake malicious, malicious application or malicious GIF file, image as well, right? So adnenaru ನೀವು ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, then only I can hack or enter into your devices, correct? So I need, without communicating or interacting with the victim or devices, we cannot hack. Okay, so ಅದೇ ಥರ ಈ ಥರ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವೇನು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಾ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಸಮ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಲೋನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಆವಾಗ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರ. ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ? ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಸಮ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ಸ್. ಯಾವ ಥರ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತೀರಾ? ಎಸ್, camera, recent calls, contacts, gallery, microphones, location, right? So there are many are there. So it is based on the application. ಯಾವ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಅವ್ರು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಆಕ್ಸೆಸ್ನ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತೇಳಿ, ರೈಟ್? So when it comes to loan applications, so I'll come back this later. Okay, so cybercrime, so there are three different major categories: against a person, against a property, against a government. Okay, usually cybercrime happens in the three categories. Against a person, so ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿನ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ. Okay, based on that one, attackers might target those companies, okay, get into those companies. Then against a government, so government entities na, government websites na, government employees na target ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೈಬರ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ನ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ, ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಹೌ ದ ಸೈಬರ್ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ಸ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್. It might be phone number, email ID or whatever it is. How they are going to get your details? So ಯಾವ ಥರ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ? Any idea? Online shopping. Then? Yeah, data breach. Yes, anyone? So ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ we blame technology actually. Don't blame technology. Blame yourself. Why? Because ಸೊ ಮೊದಲಿಗೂ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಹೋದರೆ, ರೈಟ್, ಸೊ ಮಾಲ್ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲಾದರೂ ಹೋದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್, ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ನೇಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಸೊ ವಿ ಶಿಫ್ಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಡಿಜಿಟಲಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ವಿ, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಡೇಟಾ ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಡೇಟಾ ಬ್ರೀಚಸ್. ಸೊ ಡೇಟಾ ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೆನ್ಸ್, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟಿಗೆ ನೀವು ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆದಾಗ, ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆದಾಗ, ಸೈನ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ, ಸೊ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಸಮ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಡೊಮಿನೋಸ್ ಪಿಜ್ಜಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಡೊಮಿನೋಸ್ ಪಿಜ್ಜಾ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್? ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ರೀಸೆಂಟಾಗಿ ಡೊಮಿನೋಸ್ ಪಿಜ್ಜಾದ್ದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಡೇಟಾಬೇಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನು ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನೇಮ್, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ನೇಮ್, ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್, ಮೇಲ್ ಐ ಡಿ, ಲೈವ್ GPS ಲೊಕೇಶನ್ಸ್, ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್, UPI ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿದಂಥ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಆನ್ಲೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಥ್ರೂ ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಈ ಥರ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಸೈಬರ್ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಥ್ರೂ ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಗಾಟ್ 50 lakh, 50,000 ಟು ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಒನ್, ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲಿಂಕ್, ದಟ್ ಲಿಂಕ್, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಫಿಲ್ ದ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಮೈಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್. So phishing nowadays it is more advanced. So if you click on the links itself, you might get which device you are using, okay, which location, at what time, which browser you are using, all the details they might get. Okay, so mostly you might get these kind of messages. Okay, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಸೊ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲಿಂಕ್ಡ್ಇನ್ ಆರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಮೇಲ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಸಮ್ ಅನ್ಯೂಶುವಲ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್, ಟು ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ರೀಸೆಟ್ ದ ಪಾಸ್ವರ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ಪಾಸ್ವರ್ಡ್, ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಕೌಂಟು ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕರ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಡೌನ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಥರ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದನ್ನು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ನ ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ರೈಟ್. ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನೋನ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್, ಅನ್ನೋನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. It might be reverse engineering applications or malware application, or it might be some malicious application as well, right. You have to avoid those things. One more scam which is going on, investment scam. Okay, so investment scams ಕೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, so maybe few of you might be got victim of for this kind of scams. Okay, so online investment scams ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, they might send you some message, part-time jobs, remote jobs or something like that. So just like a YouTube video and you will get 150 rupees. Okay, after 3 what you can say you have to go some task, you'll get more money, then you have to invest in the platforms, right? So invest ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಒನ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಕೇಸ್, ಮೆನಿ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಒನ್ ಲೇಡಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಥರ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅವರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ದೆನ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಸೊ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಮಿಗೆ ಅವರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತೊಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಚೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟಾಸ್ಕನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಟಾಸ್ಕನ್ನ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ದೆನ್ ಸೊ ದೇ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಯು ಟು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 5,000 ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 15,000 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 15 ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 40 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 40 ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 80 ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಯು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಸೊ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಅವರು ಹಾಗೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಗಾದೆ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಮೋಸ ಹೋಗೋರು ಇರ್ತಾರ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡೋರು ಇರ್ತಾರ ಅಂತ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಸೊ ಸೇಮ್ ಗೋಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಸೊ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಕ್ರೋರ್ಸ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಕೇಸಸ್ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ ಕೇಸಸ್, ಸೊ 1.6 crore she lost. She is a professor in one government institute, okay, which is in South Karnataka. So uneducatedಗಿಂತ ಎಜುಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಈ ಥರ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಸಿಗೆ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಬಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಬಂತಂದರೆ ದೇ ಮೈಟ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ವೆಲ್, ಸೊ ರೊಮ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಲೇಷನ್ಶಿಪ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರದ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ತುಂಬ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿದೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೇ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಟಿಲ್ ಟುಡೇ ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ರಿಸೀವಿಂಗ್ ಮೆನಿ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಆನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಫೇಕ್ ಡೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಫೇಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೈಲ್ಸನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದೇ ಮೈಟ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಮೌಂಟನ್ನು ಕೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಸೊ ಮೇ ಬಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಮೈಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಅ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಾಲ್. ಸೊ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಾಲ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕಾಲ್ನ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅಮೌಂಟನ್ನು ಪೇ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿಲ್ ಶೇರ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಈ ಥರ ಕೇಸಸ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಈ ಥರ ಕೇಸಸಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಕ್ಟಿಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಥರ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಲವ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಐ ಆಮ್ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ರಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ವೆಲ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಒನ್ ಕೇಸ್. One second. I guess so one case we have worked recently. So ಇಲ್ಲೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ he sent the message to one professor. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೇನಾಗ್ತೈತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್ಕಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫೇಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಫೇಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ಈ ವಿಲ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅದರ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಾಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೆನ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಡೇಸ್ ಹಿ ಮೈಟ್ ಸೇ, ನಾನೊಂದು ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಲಂಡನ್ನಿಂದ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಒಂದು ಫೇಕ್ ಕೊರಿಯರ್ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ನ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅನದರ್ ವೀಕ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ, ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ವೀಕ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಆ ಲೇಡಿಗೆ. ಏನಂತ, ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಕಸ್ಟಮ್ಸಿಂದ ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಈ ಥರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಬೆಳೆ ಬಾಳುವ ವಸ್ತು ಥರ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೇನಾದರೂ ಪೊಲೀಸಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ, ಲೈಫ್ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಿಸನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ. ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟನ್ನು ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಏನು. ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಆ ಲೇಡಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆದರಿ 50,000 ಇನ್ ದ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ 50,000 ಅವ್ರು ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಅಗೇನ್ ಡೇ ಟು ಡೇ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, 50,000 ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ 6.5 lakhಗೆ ಅದು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಶಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 6.5 lakhs. ಐ ಗೆಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ 6.5 lakhs ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಇದು ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಬಿಫೋರ್ adding any friends in your social media platform, make sure you know him or her. ಓಕೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಈವನ್ ಅವ್ರು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅಕೌಂಟನ್ನು ವೆರಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೇ ಮೈಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಫೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವೆಲ್, ಫೇಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವೆಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಥರನೂ ತುಂಬ ಕೇಸಸ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ವೆಲ್, so you can see there are many romance scams has happened. Okay, so India recent agi, so around 796 rupees na kalkolta ide on an average on case ge. Okay, so you can see here online dating scam 6.3 lakhs. Software engineer, he lost 6.3 lakhs as well. So romance scams anta helidaga, so over 12,000 complaints has been registered in 2024. Well, so complaint registered ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಓನ್ಲಿ 12,000. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದೇ ಥರ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೆಸಿಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಎಸ್ ಸರ್. ನಾವು ರೀಸೆಂಟಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ರಾಣೆಬೆನ್ನೂರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ, ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಕೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಶಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 7 lakh. ಸೊ ಮಗಳ ಮದುವೆಗೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಹೌ ಶಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟೆಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, 7 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೊ ದೆ ಮಾರ್ಫ್ಡ್ ಹರ್ ಇಮೇಜ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೋನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಸಮ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, ಫೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಡಂಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇವರ ಇಮೇಜ್, ಫೋಟೋ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟೋ, ಆಧಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್, ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಸೊ ಆ ಫೋಟೋನ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಅವ್ರ ಸೆಮಿ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಇಮೇಜಿಗೆ ಅವರು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್ ನೌ. ಸೊ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಲೇಡೀಸ್, girls have to be careful on these things. Okay, fake applications. So fake applications kuda scams nadita ide. ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಫೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್, SBI ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್, ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್, ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಥರದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ಫೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್, ವಿಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಥವಾ ಫೇಕ್ ಇಮೇಜನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಟ್ರಂಪ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾರ, ಸೀತಾರಾಮನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮೋದಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಫೇಕ್ ಕ್ಲೋನ್ ವಾಯ್ಸನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡು, ವಿಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ನಂಬರ್ 1 ಇನ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ದೀಸ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್. ವೈ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ? ವೈ ನಾಟ್ ಅದರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್? Software hub, right? Where number 1 in softwares, IT hub and everything. So that's why in scams also we are number 1, right? Well, so along with that one, digital arrest. You might heard about digital arrest scams. Okay, some cinema producer, so they also victim of these digital arrest scam. Okay. Digital arrest scam basically old age people ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ವೃದ್ಧ ದಂಪತಿಯಿಂದ 4.7 crore Okay, they lost that much amount. And also, I have seen some cases they lost their life in this one. Okay, so even you can see Hubballi case in Vidyanagar, it has happened. It has registered. A principal lost around 49 lakhs on this one. Okay, so online connect ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ, online connect ಆದಮೇಲೆ they might exploited him. Okay, ಸೊ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂಥೇಳಿ ಈ ಥರ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನು ಅವರು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಲೇಡೀಸ್ you have to be more careful. Okay, you might get some abusive message comments on your platforms or DMs or even WhatsApp as well. Okay, and we have seen many cases as well, like boyfriend girlfriend irtare, breakup ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಾಯ್ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಮೈಟ್ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಹರ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಿನ್ನೆ ಒಂದು ಈ ಥರ ಕೇಸಸ್ ನಮಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್, ಅವಳ ಮದುವೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಬ್ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮೇಲಿಂಗ್ ಹರ್. ಓಕೆ, we filed a case and he is now behind the bars. Well, so these are the things you have to be more careful, girls, before sharing any images, videos, or using social media while using social media platforms. Okay, prevention tips, I can say, regular backups. So updated applications na use ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳೋದಂದರೆ might be through that accounts or device compromise ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. use two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentications over there. Okay, take backup codes from the social media platforms. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾಸ್, ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕಪ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕಪ್ ಕೋಡ್ಸಿಂದ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅಕೌಂಟನ್ನು ರಿಕವರ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಓವರ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಾ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸರ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ದಾಗಿಂದ ಮಲಗೋರ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಅವರು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ರೈಟ್. They are earning in lakhs, that is secondary. But when it comes to us, normal people, so now an influencers alla, right? So stop sharing personal photos, videos, okay? Oversharing, tagging, ಯಾರು unknown ಆಗಿ ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ you have to check those as well. Okay. Well, when it comes to tools, so WhatsApp recently hack ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. Okay, so you don't know whether your mobile is secure or not. So ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದೆ ಇವೇ ಸೆಷನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ, ಹೌ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್? ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಒಂದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಡಿಬೇಟ್ ಇದೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಐಫೋನ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ರಾಯ್ಡ್. ಈಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಟ್ರೂ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಎಸ್ ಅಂತೀರಾ? ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್. ಎಸ್ ಅಂತ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಐಫೋನ್ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಇದೆ? ರೈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ವೈ? ಸಾರಿ, so even Android devices they ask for the so even Android devices as well, so it will ask permissions. We only give the permissions, right? So ಅಲ್ಲಿ settings ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಹೋದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ unknown applications disable ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Forcefully we will do enable that one. Whose fault is that? Well, so Apple is not more secure than Android, or Android is more secure than Apple. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ವಲ್ನರಬಲ್ಲೇ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ವಲ್ನರಬಲ್. ಏನಕ್ಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ 5 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ 80% ಇದ್ದರೆ 20% ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದರು, ರೈಟ್? ಆ್ಯಸ್ ಅ ಸೈಬರ್ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕರ್ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಕರ್, ಸೊ ಡೇಟಾ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ? Android devices. Based on that one, they are going to create applications or fake links, details, malicious content. Right? ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಐಫೋನ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ವೆಲ್, ಸೊ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹರ್ಡ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಪೆಗಾಸಿಸ್ ವೈರಸ್, ಸ್ಪೈವೇರ್. Pegasus spyware. Okay, so Pegasus spyware is a most advanced spyware. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಡಿವೈಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಇದೆಯಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತಲೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಈವನ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದು ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು iOS ವರ್ಷನ್ 12.0 ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಪಲ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ರೂ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಗಿಫ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಗಿಫ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ, ದಟ್ Pegasus spyware ವಾಸ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಅದಾದಮೇಲೆ ಸೊ ದೆ ಗೆಟ್ ಟು ನೋ, ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಪ್ಡೇಟ್ಸ್ನ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗಿಫ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಟ್ಯಾಕರ್ಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸೆಂಡ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್, ಥ್ರೂ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತೈತಿ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಪೈವೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಸ್ಪೈವೇರ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡಿವೈಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಡಿವೈಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲನೂ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ರೈಟ್? Well, so you can report these crimes, fake accounts or impersonate accounts in Facebook help, hacked accounts. If you have got hacked in social media platforms, you can use Facebook help or Instagram, through Instagram help. You can report those accounts. Okay. ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹ್ಯಾಕ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕೌಂಟನ್ನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೇಮನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಅಥವಾ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಯಾರು ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ನೀವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಷನ್ ತೊಗೋಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಇಸ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪರ್ಸನೇಟ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ನೀವು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಮೈಟ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಟಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡಿಟಿ. ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸೆಲ್ಫಿ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸನ್ನು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಪ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಆಧಾರ್ ಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಡ್ರೈವಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿತಿನ್ 24 hours, so they might remove that fake account. Okay, so in Gmail ಮತ್ತು ಮೇಲ್ ಐ ಡಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜಿಮೇಲ್ ಐ ಡಿ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಹೌ? Okay, so there is a one tool, have I been pawned? You can note it down or you can search have I been pawned. So you can enter your mail ID, you can get whether in any data breach your mail ID is compromised or not. Okay, so if compromise agittu anta helidre, so you have to immediately change the passwords. Make sure you are using two-factor authentication and all. Okay, have I been pawned? PWNED, pawned. ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇದೇನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಏನು ಡೇಟಾ ಬ್ರೀಚ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಡೇಟಾಬೇಸನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲ್ ಐ ಡಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಾಂಪ್ರಮೈಸ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಶೋಕೇಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಚೇಂಜ್ ದ ಪಾಸ್ವರ್ಡ್, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ two-factor authentications and all. Okay, well, so you might receive some fake links or applications or something else, right? ಯಾವುದೊಂದು ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ನೋಡಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಥವಾ ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ವೈರಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್. ಸೊ ವೈರಸ್ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಓಪನ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಟೂಲ್. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ದ ಲಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಚೆಕ್ ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಿಶಿಂಗ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಆರ್ ಲೆಜಿಟಿಮೇಟ್ ಲಿಂಕ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ ವೆಲ್. ಸೊ ಮೇಲ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಅಥವಾ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಬಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆರಿಫೈ ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ genuine or not. Okay, so along with that one, urlscan.io, so you can verify the links over there. Sukuri, so that is also open source tool to verify your if you got any phishing links or mails, you can verify over there with the help of these open source tools. So there are many other tools also there you can use. Okay, so along with that one, ಮೆಟಾ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಗ್ರಾಮ್, ಫೇಸ್ಬುಕ್, ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್, ಥ್ರೆಡ್, ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರೆ ಮೆಟಾ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಮಿ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಫೋಟೋಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತಂದರೆ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದವ್ರದ್ದು ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಮೆಟಾ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಟ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಮಿ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಫೋಟೋಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗೋ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ stopncii.org, which is a organization. So ಈ ಥರ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ across globe, 20 organizations are there. So they are supporting meta platforms to remove those content or images or videos. Okay, especially in meta platforms, ಈ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಮಿ ನ್ಯೂಡ್ ಫೋಟೋಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಲೇಡೀಸ್, ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ನೋಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನೀವು ಕೇಸ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಟು ವಿತಿನ್ 48 hours ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ರಿಮೂವ್ across meta platform. Okay, with that, so you can use two-factor authentication backup codes of Instagram, Facebook and other things. Okay, make sure you have taken backup codes of your social media accounts. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಥರ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ನಿಮಗಾಯಿತು ಅಥವಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದವ್ರಿಗಾಯಿತು, ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲೀಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗ್ತಾಯಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಕಾಲ್ 1930 ಸೈಬರ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಕಾಲ್. ಓಕೆ, or you can go to nearby police stations, nearby cybercrime station, not police station, cybercrime station, or you can file the case through online portal cybercrime.org, gov.in, or UPI through ಏನಾದರೂ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಔಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ವೆಲ್, ಸೊ ಡು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್? Well, thank you. Be safe.
Thank you, sir, for an engaging and knowledge-packed session. Continuing with the panel of experts, I now invite Dr. Amir Javed, sir, Cardiff University, Wales, to kindly address the gathering.
Hello everyone. So my name is Amir. I'm a senior lecturer at Cardiff University. So I know you've heard a lot from the previous speakers about what are the harms that are there, what are the regulations that are there, do's and don'ts around it. So this session, I was thought I'll tell you a little bit more about my research, what we've been doing on cybercriminal behavior, how we can use those different things that are there to actually come up with different intelligent models that you can deploy to protect yourself from cyber harms that are there. So I have my email address as well, and I've got a QR code which you can use to connect me on LinkedIn. We'll try to make this session a little bit interactive, so I would like to have your interaction. Speak to me as much as you can. I'm assuming everybody is here from associated somewhere or the other with cybersecurity, and assuming everybody does have a mobile phone with them. So if you could just quickly scan a QR code and answer a simple question for me. Come on, guys, I'm not asking you to raise your hands or anything. Just simply, anonymously, you don't even have to put your hand. What do you think attack happens because we have vulnerable technology, or do you think we have got vulnerable human? What would be the main cause for that would be? It's good to see a lot of you guys think it's human which makes us more vulnerable than the technology that's there, which is kind of true, which I think a lot of the previous speakers also established this part as well. So let me ask you the second question. What makes humans susceptible to attacks then? If you think we are vulnerable, then what makes us more susceptible to it? Why do you think we fall victims to attack? I just want to hear what you guys' thoughts are. Why do you think you would be falling victim to attacks? You guys are all learning cybersecurity, because you know my next question would be, would you be susceptible to attacks? But weak protection is technology. All these things are technological things that you say. Okay, overconfidence. We had a lot of different scams, romance scams, phishing scams, telecom scams. What do you think was common in that? Any thoughts? Why do you think people are falling victim to those things? Was it because of protection technology, overconfidence? Okay, let me put it in a different way. Does everybody like money? If I give you free money, will you take it? You won't? You won't take free money? Okay, free grades? No, you don't want free grades. What if I fail you guys? For no reason. Will you be happy? What are all these things triggering in you? Does that make you happy when I said free money? Does it make you annoyed when I said I'll fail you for no reason if I have the power? Did it trigger some kind of an emotional response to react to my voice to that? Now that is what the basis, what attackers are trying to do. They are trying to create that emotional response from you. When you look at a phishing email, why would you interact with it? If it's interesting to you, you will click on it. If it is not, you'll bin it. That's 20 years ago, right? Now you see a text. You will respond to a text if you find it to be urgent. Otherwise, you will just bin it, moving much further out to it, right? So it's the emotional response, that's what makes us vulnerable. It's not the technology, it's what makes us human at the end of it. So the talk that I will probably try to give you, make you understand is like, okay, we are vulnerable to human as a emotional vulnerability. How an attackers can take advantage of that, and at the end of it, I'll try to explain to you what are the different ways that you can actually protect yourself from it by presenting through a simple use case study through which what my research has been based on. I have a question. We've established that emotions play a role in attacks. So will you fall victim to a cyber attack then now? Do you think you can mask your emotions? Okay, if I say, would you freely give away money to somebody? If you don't raise hand, I assume everybody will give away free money. Or if you don't respond to it. So you all will give free money to whoever calls you up, even though you're studying criminology. Very interesting group of people that you have. Very charitable that you have over here. Okay, so let me ask you another thing. Let's assume we all will not give away free money whoever calls us. For a scammer who calls up and say like, no, we won't. We are smart people. We'll study criminology. Can you think of an instance where the attack will be successful and the attacker will be able to fool you? We talked about a lot of scams that are there. Any situation that could have happened. Let's think of an example from your perspective. What if you have an exam and I ransomware your computer and lock everything up? Will you give me money even if I ask you 500 rupees to unlock everything? Or will you wipe up everything and start from the start? It's not about the denomination, it's about the instance when the attack is happening. Where you are, in what situation you are. That's the urgency, that's what makes the attack successful. If you're in a busy state of work, right? You're overloaded with work. That's the instant if you get a phishing email, it'll work. Not because you're not smart enough to detect it, but because the circumstances under which the attack has been created. That's what it'll make it work. What about, okay. If A friend calls you up to ask for money. Will you give that friend? Will you question them? Or will you not question and give them money? You may question, you may not question them, depending on who's calling at the end of it, right? If my dad calls up in a stressful situation, I'm going to say like, here, here's the money. But again, that's a situation in current day and age. You have to question. Why? We've got deepfakes at the end of it. We've got audio fakes going on over here. How do you know at the end of the person who's making that call? Because everything comes down to the similar part of it is what makes us vulnerable as human is emotions. Attackers trying to take advantage of that is by triggering our emotions, by understanding, creating a situation or taking advantage of a situation where we are, which will give a higher emotional response at the end of it, right? So we just talked about different situations. How many seconds of video an attacker needs to create a deepfake? I'm sure everybody do know what a deepfake is. 10, okay. Any 15, 30, 32, okay. Has anyone ever created a deepfake? Do you think it's easy? Easy to create or not? There are free tools available, right? You can create multiple deepfakes. You've got TikTok videos, TikTok application, Instagram application to do that. Have you ever tried fooling somebody using a deepfake? Right? Why can't an adversary do the same with you? Again. So if all these things is required, you know what the most surprising part is? You just need an image. You don't even need a video now to create a deepfake. So what does that mean? Your whole Instagram page, everybody on your friend circle, I can create a deepfake using their image? Good quality image, right? What about audio? How many seconds of audio do I need to create a deepfake audio? If just an image is required, how much is that we need for that? We just need 3 to 4 seconds of audio. And how long is that? But just answering a call, capturing that. Now, as an adversary, I have a situation in which what I can potentially do is I could take your image, take your voice, clone them together, and now create a stressful situation. I've got a short attack video I would like to play if it's okay. I'm pretty sure you guys must have seen it. It's let's see if I can minimize it. So.
It's every parent's worst nightmare. A call from the police in the middle of the day asking if you know where your child is. Here's how it went for one scam call victim, Delhi-based Kaveri Ganpati Ahuja.
The first thought when I got that call was sheer panic and absolute horror, because the man who identified himself as a cop was asking me very roundabout questions. He was asking me, where is your daughter? Do you know where she is? Kavya kahan hai? Aap jante ho? Uske saath kya hua? Aap jante ho? You know, all that. So in my mind, I thought the worst. I thought she's met with an accident and she's hurt. That's why a cop is calling me in the middle of the day to ask me about her. So my first thoughts when I got the call was just complete, I froze. And then this man, this so-called cop, went on to tell me that my daughter has been arrested. And I was actually relieved. I was so relieved that she's not hurt. But I was still panicked, and I wanted to know what she's been arrested for. So he tells me that she and 4 girls have been arrested for attempting a sextortion on her MLA's son. They had some compromising videos and photographs of him, and they were trying to extract money from him. I knew this is just not possible. This is so not my daughter. But then they got her on the line. Her as in, it was her voice pleading with me. Mama mujhe bacha lo, Mama mujhe bacha lo.
Luckily, Kaveri had faith in her daughter and an inkling that she was being taken for a ride. She began to record the call for evidence, and here is how it went.
आगे को लेके आओ, जल्दी ले जाओ, कि मम्मी से बात करवानी है, जल्दी लेके आओ आगे को। हाँ ले आओ, जल्दी ले आओ। हाँ ये बात करो, बात करो। हेलो
हेलो हेलो
बोलिए मैडम।
हाँ क्या क्या कह रहे हो?
देखिए बोलिए।
हाँ नहीं क्या नहीं बात कराइए ना।
क्या करना है अभी?
बात कराइए पहले।
अरे मैडम बात करवाइए और
हाँ हाँ
नहीं हमारे मुलाजिम लगे हुए हैं।
जी नहीं आप
करवाइए और कैसे करवाइए?
Okay, I'll just stop here. What would you do? Would you believe? Obviously, retrospective thinking right now, you'll be like, oh, it's a fake video, it's that. Now imagine your loved one, your friend, or somebody calling that on the other line of that instance. What would your reaction be? It's an emotional trigger that has happened for you, right? And responding on that, that's what makes most of the attacks successful at the end of it. And it's something very difficult to control, difficult to mask, depending who's on the other side of the call is. If my dad calls up like that in that situation, I might end up saying like, yes, I will at the end of it. Can you think of a practical solution to find yourself against such kind of an attack? Sorry? You won't have time. You won't have time to call somebody else. It's like, think of a reactive situation. You go to the call someone says like, I'm already pretty much in a need of help. Send me money. If your friend calls you, say like you say 100 rupees. You won't be able to do what you can do that. Right? One, just because you trust your voice. Now imagine that if you're saying that like you stop by and please, I need to send you this message. You might end up responding and get back at the end of it, right? So it's the trigger that happens, but there's a very logical answer to it. Think of it like how you can protect yourself from such situations. How can you protect yourself from such situations? Yeah? What? Sorry? We just realized that if I can deepfake, I'm pretty sure I can clone numbers against, or even if I don't clone number, do you think there's not a situation someone can call you from a random Facebook call or something and you not know them? How would we verify the sensitivity to this email they are on the other hand? The voice is saying, they could be a video. I'll just show you the video as well, like what kind of services do exist on dark web. See, this is the kind of service they are actually provided on dark web, where they advertise how they can change videos on real time. So all the destruction of images and stuff like that is already advertised, it's already there. If you see the person you think they see, you know the person, not the person How will you trust who's on the other end of the person? Is your friend or your loved one? You don't trust them? There has to be something, right? Knowledge, right? We all share the same thing. We all share the same thing. I'm sure in instances you can go back to basics. You can say like, can you think of the password among a friend or close friend or somebody else? I'll help the person who's not able. Yes, I'll give you the money. Tell me the password. Let me decide it out. Simple. And once you don't have your inside knowledge. They can see your identity, can see your voice, but can see the knowledge that you have. They will not be able to do that. And that's the biggest difference in this kind of website. So, having said that, go back to my presentation. Is there? So we established that emotions matter quite a lot when it comes to launching attacks, creating an emotional trigger. So a lot of my research has been focused on identifying emotions on online social networks, especially around attacks that have been created that create these
But to find evidence, whether there is any evidence which emotions play a role when it comes to propagating malware or it comes to propagating phishing attacks or any sort of online harm that's there, then trying to link emotions with hate speech, someone is trying to say something bad about you or trying to see whether you can use hate speech in different forms that are there, whether it's anti-racism or anything against you, your emotion favor, and can that be used to predict offline crime or indicators that are there. And the last thing that we think about is like, do individuals come together to target something? And if they do they have certain signatures, certain patterns, certain fingerprints? And again, what kind of text and emotions do they play in that part of it, which helps you create identify distributed behavior that's there?
And if you can do that at the end of it, then you can definitely try to disrupt that behavior. In a nutshell, you're trying to identify organized crime on online social network or ways through which an adversary could be creating a fingerprint. Think of it this way, whatever you write and whoever you teach at the end of it, some part of your identity or the writing method or your teaching method will get passed on. Same with an attacker, there will be signatures of it if they are a gang working together. There will be elements to it where to attack, from which domain name to go to, how to construct, I would say, an email, how to construct a text, what kind of emotional triggers. So everybody would have sort of a signature that's there. And can that signature be good enough to actually identify and organize criminals that are there? So the first part of the research, which is emotion in text, information in propagation. So what we did was this was the research we did for I think 5-6 years, where we tried to capture online social network data on certain events, trying to see, and then we try to identify what data that we have, do attacks happen or not? If a link has been injected within the text itself, has that link been used for phishing? And how do we know that it's been used for phishing or not? There were multiple ways. You got virus total that's there. But what we were trying to do is we were not just looking for phishing, we were trying to see if there were links that were there, had any malicious content to it or not. So what we did was we opened those links in a sandbox environment and see if an attack was happening or not. Why just merely visiting a website? Based on what people were talking about, based on what friends were following. So we tried to create this whole profile of things that were there. We looked at from the behavior side of it. We looked at what user were liking, what they were retweeting, or what I would say, what topics they were there at the end of it, how long the text had been, grammaticalistics had been there or not. And then we started looking at emotional aspect of it as well. Does the text, which contained a link which was pointing to an attack, had any emotional triggers? Was there injected in them or not? Because at the end of it, we just established, like, if emotional trigger is not, you will not respond to it. But now to make it more interesting, in online social context, I can create an emotional trigger, but you still may not respond if it's not of your interest, right? You might be interested in certain things, and within those things, if I create an emotional trigger, there's a high probability you might end up clicking on that. Somebody might be interested in IPL tickets. Somebody might not be completely interested about IPL tickets. Two different emotional topics within which you could have. I could give away, you give free tickets to my sister of IPL, she'll like, no, I don't want it. She will not even look at it at the end of it. So, and the study that we did, so after capturing all that, so what we try to see if we can see what makes a tweet or a post be retweeted, what makes it viral. And we found strong evidence of, any guesses what kind of emotion you would have shared? What makes you share posts? A post that makes you happy, you'll share, or a post that makes you scared more? What will you share more? Happy? Or fearful? Happy? What would you share? Happy or full? Both? If I have to say pick one. So let's go back. COVID, right? Everybody was feared. Would you share news about a dog dancing or a person saying like, I just spotted somebody having sneezing in my corridor. I don't know if I've got COVID or not. Or I saw some people in this corridor with COVID outbreak. Fear would have been spreading much faster than what happiness or joy would be. You will share. I'm not saying you will not. But the speed at which fear will traverse within the network, happiness will probably not. So, and that was, we have found a very strong evidence on that. We found posts which had in words which had been injected, which were particularly evoking emotional response, specifically negative, fearful response in you, were traversing further and further within the network than happiness would be. Second thing we found, like how fast, what's the longevity of those things? How much are they within circulation? And we found again, negative emotions were being circulated much longer than what positive would be. It's a dark age, right? Fear is dominating everywhere. Fear is being circulated everywhere. But that's what makes us trigger things at the end of it, right? So next thing what we did is, okay, we've identified things, what makes news spread, emotional being a predominant thing at the end of it. Now, what can we do with this information? Can we actually predict crime that's happening within your neighborhood at the end of it? So what we did was, we looked at 2 different cities. We tried to geomap them and tried to see, let's look at small encashment areas within 1 square kilometer and start capturing data over there. See what people are talking about, right? And then we see who are living within this neighborhood. Thirdly, we said, like, has their crime been reported before or not? 3 very important things to see whether we can predict something or not. If something happens in your neighborhood, and if you're a social person, you'll firstly go on social media and say, like, the neighborhood's gone to the dogs, or has gone, been corrupted. I just saw someone selling drugs or smoking. But one person cannot be, picked up as an outlier. So you can't just pinpoint something into it. So we really have to see, do emotions again play a role in determining whether we can predict offline? And we found strong evidence. Interestingly, in neighborhoods where crime was predominant, nobody was talking about it, but it had become part of their life. If you see somebody smoking every day, you'll complain once, you'll complain twice, and after that, it'll become part of your life. You'll just accept it. This happens in this neighborhood. You will not shout about it. But if someone comes and steals, you'll start shouting, like, look what just happened. So we found areas and neighborhoods where crime was predominant and new crime was not being reported. People were not talking about it. But any new crime happening within neighborhood, negative emotions were playing as indicators to demonstrate that there is a correlation to that, where you can use them as an indicator to predict offline crime. Areas where no crime had been reported, even a small thing happens over there, people shout, and then negative emotions do heat up within that geolocation, which can act as precursors where police or dashboards can use that, like something is happening over here over a period of time. The last thing that I want to talk about is, okay, we established we can predict crime. We know, like, there's people on online social network are using to do that. Now, can we identify collusion behavior that's there? Can we identify people working together to actually launch an attack, whether it's a phishing attack, ransom attack, or any kind of attack? Are they using online social networks to do that? Because that's what your mode of delivery is, right? So we have botnets which have similar signature to it. You could have people who are working together, creating accounts that are there. But if you're coding, if you're writing an article, if you're recreating your own work at some point of it, there has to be a lot of similarity to it. If I ask somebody to write, say, 100 essays on the same topic, only one person to do that, and each 100 has to be different, your signature will carry through all those things that are there. I can pinpoint it's like it's written by one person, no matter how good you are. At the end of it, you can't change that. Even if you ask ChatGPT to say, like, write with different essays at the end of it, there will be, from the same prompt, there will be some derivatives to it at the end of it. There is a signature which is falling at the end of it. So can we identify, what are the markers to which the signatures we can do that? By observing people who are spreading malware, right? So we've already had a data set where we established they are being used to create attacks that are there, but now can we start looking at them, trying to see what is the behavior coming out of it? Are the people writing things in a certain way? Are there certain emotions being triggered from certain ways at the end of it? Do they have certain number of friends, followers? Are they following each other? What kind of topics that they're doing? So we had different parameters to look at it, and within that we use AI techniques such as clustering and techniques to see, do people come together if they have certain attributes? And then we validated that using a data set such as election data, where we know people are colluding together, or not colluding, I would say campaigning together for the candidate. They're working together. So if the same model works on that and gives the same results, then definitely on the other side of it, people are working together to do that. And so what's that? This fingerprint. This I just want to cover. Integrated perspective and implication from. Just to wrap things up over here, when you can't hide your emotions, you can't hide your identity that's there. Though technology is there to protect you, what I would say is think a little bit before responding to it. Think where the image is coming from, what the image is coming from. It's difficult to mask your emotional triggers at the end of it, but try to, stop the urge of clicking everything, doom scrolling everything at the end of it, liking it, part of it. And on that note, I won't keep you from lunch. And that was a very short talk from me. Thank you.
Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful expression of respect. I now invite Ms. Muskan Gulbarga to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected dignitaries on and off the dais, faculty members, research scholars, and my dear students. As we conclude this enlightening workshop on cyber safe, tackling online crimes against women and children, organized by the Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, it is my distinct honor to propose the vote of thanks. First and foremost, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to Professor C.M. Thyagaraja, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Rani Channamma University, Belagavi, in his absentia. A special thank you to our chief guest, Dr. Nitesh Saxena from Cardiff University, Wales, UK. Your presence and insights under the Global Wales Partnership have added immense international value to our discussions today. Thank you, sir. We are grateful to the University Administration, including Sri Santosh Kamagoda, KAS, Registrar, Professor D.N. Patil, Registrar Evaluation, Srimati Sapna M.A., KAS, Finance Officer, Dr. Kaveri H.M., Syndicate Member, and Professor Vishwanath Avati, Dean, Faculty of Science, in their absentia. A sincere thanks to our subject experts, Dr. Mahesh Vastra, IISc Bengaluru, and Dr. Amir Javed, Cardiff University, Wales, UK. Your technical expertise has provided us with the tools to better understand and tackle the complexities of cybercrime. Thank you, sir. We applaud the tireless efforts of Dr. Nandini G. Devamani, Organizing Secretary, Dr. R.N. Mangoli, Dr. Chandrasekhar S.V. and Dr. Maheshwari Kachapur for their coordination and support. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Your coordination has made this event a resounding success. A final word to our participants. Before we conclude, we have two important announcements for all the participants present here. Your input is vital to us. Please scan the QR code that is to be displayed on the screen or the posters pasted to submit your feedback for the current workshop. Also, we are pleased to inform you that the certificates of participation will be distributed right here in the Kuvempu Hall. We kindly request you all to remain seated for the next few minutes so that we can distribute the certificates. Thank you all. Thank you for being such a proactive and attentive audience. Have a safe and cyber safe afternoon. Thank you.
I would also like to thank the Karnataka State Higher Education Council, the British Council, and in particular the Cardiff University for this collaboration. I place on record my gratitude to our Hon'ble Vice Chancellor, Professor C.M. Thyagaraja sir, Register sir, Sri Santosh Kamgoda sir, Register Evaluation, and of course our Finance Officer ma'am, Sapna ma'am, who is always supporting and motivating all of us. I would be failing in my duty if I don't thank Dr. Nitish and Dr. Amir, who have come all the way from UK to collaborate in regard with this project. I once again thank both of you on behalf of Rani Channamma University and Department of Criminology and Forensic Science. Thank you one and all.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know everyone must be hungry as it is lunchtime, but just a 10-minute extension with the objective of encouraging meaningful dialogue and in-depth exchange of knowledge. I would like to invite all the dignitaries and all the research scholars for the roundtable conversation. Please join us. Thank you. Group photo. Department-wise, please come for the group photo.